This shop makes over $1,000 per month with an average of 51 orders for a simple online service that takes about 15 minutes of work per order. That means that with only 12 hours of work per month, this is one of the easiest and most accessible side hustles in 2023. The service we'll cover is called photo restoration. We're also going to talk about how you can monetize this service, what tools you can use, as well as what can make you stand out from the competition. Now, this isn't a $1 million business by any stretch, but the good news is that we're not dealing with a digital product. This is a service. So you don't need to spend weeks and months creating hundreds of listings of products to get in favor with the Etsy algorithm. The other upside is you can get started with AI tools that cost about the same price as a cup of coffee per month. But if you want to do more complex and higher quality work, you'll need Adobe Photoshop, which is free for the first 7 days and $21 per month after the free trial ends. Also, I'm definitely not telling you that there is a Captain Jack Sparrow version out there that can help you out. But first, before you make any type of investment, you'd want to know if this is actually worth doing. I mean, there are thousands of ads running on Fiverr for photo restoration services, so is this a dried out niche? And look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. A simple one-click restoration service with AI is saturated, and it's extremely unlikely you will find success in that. Provided that someone can do a bit of Googling, it's very easy to find AI tools that can transform a single photo from this to this, so there's no point paying someone to do it for them. That's just the reality. But there are a lot of things you can do to these photos that AI cannot do, which would make your business stand out. Those techniques are exactly what separate this successful shop we've just seen from all the other thousands of freelancers who do the one-click work. So we know there is a lot of supply, but how's the demand looking like? I mean, we're talking about something very niche. Not everybody has old photos lying around at home that they're looking to enhance or colorize. So to understand the demand, we'll hop on to Google Trends. Searching for photo restoration over the past 5 years, we see an overall increase in interest in this type of service as the years go on, with the graph staying relatively high throughout 2022 and 2023, which means that there is definitely a market for this type of service right now. Okay, so now to break down the process of how you can restore photos, we'll be looking into two methods, starting with AI. And we have a good variety of solutions that we can leverage, including Vance, Image Colorizer, and Hotpot. All of them have a simple interface where you just drag and drop your photos, choose to colorize, upscale, and fix any scratches. So let's look at a concrete example. I've got this photo right here which I downloaded from Google, and let's go with Hotpot as our tool of choice. If I go to hotpot.ai, I can choose the Restore Damaged Pictures option, and I can drag my photo in here. Next, I can select if there are any scratches in my photo and click on Restore. And it'll take a couple of seconds, but this is what it comes up with. And if I click on the photo, it will download it straight to my computer. Now, if we compare the original and the restored version, you can see it removed a lot of the scratches, but it's still black and white and has a few more artifacts which the AI couldn't quite remove completely. If I want to colorize the photo, I'll go back to Hotpot, click the colorize option, and set a colorization factor between 12 and 25. Let's go with the maximum here and click on colorize. As you can see, it didn't do that good of a job, considering it just added some color to the face right here and neglected the rest of the photo, so there's definitely a limitation when it comes to using these AI tools. And important to mention that with Hotpot, you can test out as many images as you want, but the final result you get is a low resolution image. If you want the high resolution version, you will have to buy credits, which can cost around 30 cents per image. Also, you get a couple of free credits with Vance to try it out, but after that you have to pay $5 a month to continue using it. And I restored a couple more images with AI. You can see the before and after for each of these. I'll leave them on the screen for a bit, and I'll also include a link in the description so you can download them yourself and see the results. So in my conclusion, while these AI tools are impressive and easy to use, they are still limited in how much you can restore an image, and you'll see in a bit that Photoshop does a much better job and it's not hard to use at all. Also, as I said before, the free version of these tools are limited, so it's not just a case of someone who wants to restore their photos will just drop them down here, get them done in a few minutes for completely free, and receive a satisfactory result. Okay, so now let's get down to what Photoshop can do. So first, you will need the latest version of Photoshop for this to work. And I have an image that I downloaded from Google once again open here. And to access the photo restoration filter, we need to go up here to filter and select neutral filters. And if we scroll to the bottom, you will have the photo restoration filter and the colorize filter, which are the two main actions we are going to use. Now just keep in mind that at the time of recording this video, the photo restoration filter is still in a beta stage, so it will have its limitations here and there. So if I want to apply some color to this image, I'm going to enable this slider here to activate the colorization, and it will apply a default setting. From here, I can play around with the settings, and I wouldn't really touch too many of these sliders here, apart from the main saturation slider, which makes the colors more intense if you drag it to the right. And every image is going to be different, so you're gonna have to play around with the settings to get the best results. In this case, a +10 saturation will be just fine, and I'm gonna hit OK. Next, I'm gonna go back to filter, neutral filters, and now let's look at the actual photo restoration. If I zoom in on my image, you can see it's a bit defocused here and there is a bit of noise, which is actually normal in these older photos. So let's enable the photo restoration slider, and it will take a bit of time to process here to apply the default setting. Now we have three main sliders here on the right. The photo enhancement applies a general upscaling of the image. The further to the right you shift the slider, the more it reduces the noise in the image, but you will lose a bit of detail and sharpness. So I found that for most use cases, a value somewhere in the middle is the best solution. Below that, you have the enhance face option, and I think this is pretty self-explanatory, but to make you understand how it works, Photoshop analyzes the faces in the image and draws new faces on top of them and aligns them to the originals to get a more enhanced version. You can see the before and after here, and as you can probably tell, the results are pretty damn good. Now granted, it doesn't work 100% of the time. I've seen examples of it turning little girl faces into just some straight up nightmare fuel, but 90 to 95% of the time it does the job. And again, a value somewhere in the middle is a good solution in most cases. If you have scratches in your image, you can reduce them with this slider, and if we go deeper into adjustments, you can further reduce the noise and remove any artifacts. Now again, each image and project is different, so you have to play around with the settings on an individual basis, but you can see it does an overall pretty good job. I'll leave a couple of photos up on the screen for you to see how well it enhances the images, and I also have a few down in the description that you can download. So based on how well it works compared to the AI tools, I think using Photoshop for this service makes the most sense if you want to take it seriously. Okay, so before you start marketing your services, ideally you'd want to have a portfolio of images that you've already enhanced. And you can download a couple of old images from Unsplash, which is a completely free stock photography website that gives you a commercial license to all images you download. You can take a few photos from here and enhance them in Photoshop, save the before and afters, and have those ready as references for your potential clients. Then, in terms of where you'll promote your services, you have a couple of options. The easiest and most accessible would be Etsy, where you can open a shop and list your service in just a couple of minutes. I have a completely dedicated video to open an Etsy shop up here if you want to check it out. The problem with Etsy is that you'll have more than likely a suspended account for the first couple of weeks until they verify your details, and that you'll have to run ads to get your service out there in front of customers. Also, there are multiple fees to consider: the $0.2 listing fee, a 6.5% transaction fee, and a minimum of $1 per day for Etsy ads. The second option is to become a seller on Fiverr, which is the platform of choice for most freelancers. Fiverr takes a 20% cut for each transaction, and you have to wait around 14 days to process your funds, but the platform is super easy to use, no nonsense suspension like with Etsy, and you can really stand out with quality over quantity type of work. In terms of offerings, if we do a bit of analysis, we can see that most shops offer a wide range of photo restoration types. So as you've seen in Photoshop, we can do a simple colorization of the image, we can do a minor restoration, or even a full-blown remake of the entire photo. So my recommendation, if you want to get started, is price each type of restoration differently. Charge a small amount for colorization and increase the prices for more complicated work. This way you can target different types of budgets and customers. Okay, so hopefully you found this video useful. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments. I try my best to reply to everyone. Please leave a like if you found this useful, subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon.